Darren Saravis, CEO of Nectar and BreathDirect, and Noreen King, CEO of Evolve, the manufacturer behind this device. Thank you both very much for speaking with me. Darren, I want to start with you because we're announcing that there's this emergency use authorization for the BreathDirect ventilator. Ventilators are still incredibly relevant. It's not just about vaccines still. Ventilators are at peak use still in some places as we see the third and even fourth wave of this virus. But one thing that I think is incredibly relevant here is the fact that even the places that have enough ventilators don't have enough technicians because the ventilators are so complicated to use. This BreathDirect ventilator device immediately addresses that issue.
Right. So right now we're still in surge condition with varying levels of surge depending where we are in the country. So what's happening is when you have to bring in more ventilators to a certain area, we need to have enough technicians to cover that. Technicians have to be cross-trained. The existing full capability ventilators that are out there are pretty complicated to learn and requires a lot of training. There's a lot of menuing that you have to get into. One of our goals was to have a ventilator that could be very easy to train on. So we have all of our controls located right in front of you. You can just go to a knob and turn it. And that makes a big difference in the training.
And Noreen, I know that Evolve, the manufacturer, worked very closely with Darren and his team, not just to get something to market, but to make sure that you could mass scale it. That's very important for creating this type of device, isn't it, Noreen?
Absolutely. From day one, we realized it would be a long process to get our emergency use authorization. So we didn't want to waste any time. So we developed the whole manufacturing process in parallel. So from day one, we just thought we may have to make one of these every minute and a half if necessary. So we designed our process like that. And now, even though we might not need to do that volume at this moment, we have the security of knowing that if necessary, we can ramp to that degree. And so right now, I think we plan to manufacture like one every 15 minutes right now on the line that we have behind us, which you can't see, but it's got a conveyor belt. It's very exciting for us, yeah.
And that speed is incredible for your industry. Darren, I want to talk to you about a national security component, really, in a way. You decided to produce this in the United States. And a lot of people didn't realize there were a lot of supply chain problems that didn't become apparent until
Right.
we're in this situation. So why did you decide to produce this in the US?
So when we're in a pandemic situation, borders get closed. When borders are closed, all of a sudden the global supply chain shuts down. And so one of our early goals was that we were going to be able to source all the components locally. We evolve early on in the development process to ensure that all the components we were selecting could be sourced locally. So today,
And Noreen, I think, go ahead, Darren.
so today our ventilator is made in the U.S., sourced from components in the U.S., and it also has the benefit of bringing jobs to the U.S.
And speaking exactly of that, Darren, Noreen, you've actually hired 3 times the amount of people currently at your facility than you did before the pandemic. Walk us through that. That's in part because exactly companies like Nectar, BreathDirect, bringing these devices and making them in the U.S. at plants like yours.
Yeah, there is a silver lining to this pandemic in that we were able to bring in a lot of employees to do very simple tasks like making tests, these little test kits that we make. And it gave us an opportunity to get exposure to them and then move them into more complicated lines based on their skills. And we're not expecting people to arrive at our company with any skills, but we want people who are intelligent that we can train. And we found many, many of them. And so we brought people from all kinds of industries, such as the hospitality and retail that were laid off. And they've gotten actually way better jobs working for us. And we've had some people promoted to be supervisors that would never have happened to them in their previous positions.
And they've been able to go from entry-level positions to making more complex devices. like the ventilator. I just have to say, I think both of you have spoken very eloquently about the human angle of all of this. Both of you have been touched in different ways by this COVID pandemic. Noreen, I know you had employees who couldn't even visit their parents as they were dying of COVID in senior citizen facilities. So I know how important this is for both of you to be doing something that, of course, you're looking to create jobs, looking to make strong business, but also do your part to fight the COVID pandemic. So I just want to thank you both for walking us through this, and congratulations on the emergency use authorization. I know many medical facilities will be anxiously awaiting the devices. So thank you to you both.
Thank you.